Alrighty, so last night was the 93rd Academy Awards, and the excitement was... As per usual, the show ran well over 3 hours. That is with no musical performances and no host. To save you the time, we're going to cover all the lowlights. This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Alrighty, so imagine the excitement, the thrill of being in Los Angeles amid the 60,000 homeless people. Well, here's the thing. The Hollywood people, they weren't among the homeless people. They actually took Union Station, which is a transportation hub, and they cleared it of all the homeless people. So those homeless people, if they're in front of your front driveway in LA, you can't move them for love or money, but Hollywood can move them for their red carpet. So all these very, very wealthy and famous people can wear $100,000 dresses and then go to a ceremony celebrating themselves. So they cleared out all the homeless people. They also put up 10-foot barricades. They built the Trump wall around Union Station to make sure that they were shielded from the criminality they foster. And all of the nominees got swag bags worth over $200,000. So these are people who are absolutely in touch with the common man. These are people who care about the average American. And the way you can tell really that they care about the average American is by the movies that they make, which no average American saw. The number of people who saw combined any of the Oscar-nominated films could fit inside a small phone booth. So here were your Best Picture nominees. I'm sure you've seen every one of these. I will admit to you freely, I have seen 0 of these movies, nor have I real interest in seeing any of these movies. So, The Father, a movie about a man with Alzheimer's and what it's like to be a person with Alzheimer's. It's a real picker-upper. Judas and the Black Messiah, in which we learn that the Black Panthers were actually the best thing that ever happened in America. Mank, a self-indulgent film about Herman Mankiewicz and why the 1940s were great and why the 1950s were great, why all these movies were great, but we don't make those movies anymore, so we'll just make a movie about making the movies. Minari, the story of an Asian-American family attempting to make it in the United States and really about the evils of the American system. Nomadland, about a 65-year-old woman pooping in a bucket. She's white. Promising Young Woman, about how women are routinely date raped. Sound of Metal, about a heavy metal drummer losing his hearing. And also we learn about the evils of the American healthcare system. And Trial of the Chicago 7, a second movie about how America is deeply racist and the Black Panthers were kind of awesome. So if that sounds like just an evening to you, you just grab one of those movies and you make an evening of it.
Find anything interesting? Rocks!
The number of people who saw any of these movies, 0. So now we are going to go through the show, the highlights and the lowlights. There were no highlights, spoiler alert. First, we had the opening monologue from Regina King, who always looked stellar, but said some weird things about COVID.
People have been vaxxed, tested, retested, socially distanced, and we are following all of the rigorous protocols that got us back to work safely. So, just like on a movie set, when we're rolling, masks off. And when we're not rolling, masks on. All right? That's how we do it.
So I have a question. Why? If everybody has been vaxxed and everybody has been tested, why are you wearing masks when the cameras go off? Does COVID care about when the cameras are on or when the cameras are off? Like it's connected with the wiring in some way? And the answer, of course, is that this is all mask theater for these people, all of whom have been vaccinated and all of whom have been tested. So this is all very, very silly. Also, quick note, California made all sorts of provisions so that Hollywood can continue to produce films, but your small business had to be shut down. You could not even put a table in front of your restaurant, because if you put a table in front of your restaurant and people ate outdoors, then you might spread the virus. But Hollywood could have a food truck directly outside of a production set, and that was totally fine. So all these people, they are the most virtuous among you. And yes, they did get special dispensations so they could continue to practice their careers while yours was ruined.
Tell me that this is dangerous, but right next to me is a slap in my face. This is safe, 50 feet away.
Best Supporting Actor was Daniel Kaluuya. He won for Judas and the Black Messiah, a movie you haven't seen, but you'll remember him from Get Out, a movie that you may have seen.
Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, the Black Panther Party, they showed me how to love myself.
Okay, so first of all, quick note on the Black Panther Party. Many of those people suggested that only freedom came out of the barrel of a gun. Many of them were engaged in criminal activities. The kind of rewriting of American history so that MLK was the bad guy and Malcolm X and the Black Panthers were the good guy is kind of astonishing.
Sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther Party.
Pretty soon we'll tear down the statues of MLK at some point. Also, quick note on Daniel Kaluuya's address. He actually says at one point he wants to thank his parents for having had sex and creating him, which is actually, I guess, a pro-life sentiment, although an awkward one. Here are the award winners for Best Makeup for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. The makeup in that movie is really quite spectacular, but they got so caught up in their happiness that they forgot the statue on stage. mean, that's kind of how the evening was, frankly. And here are the winners of the Best Short Film Award. And apparently they got their suits directly from the same place where Joe Pesci got his tux in My Cousin Vinny. They wore this ridiculous thing for use.
On average, the police in America every day kill 3 people, which amounts to about 1,000 people a year. And those people happen to disproportionately be black people. And, you know, James Baldwin once said, the most despicable thing a person can be is indifferent to other people's pain. And so I just ask that you please not be indifferent. Please don't be indifferent to our pain.
Okay, I have a question. How many of those people are criminals that the police kill every day? When he says 3 people are killed every day, that's not 3 black people who are killed every day. That's 3 people killed every day, most of whom actually, by plurality, are white. As far as the proportionality, you actually have to identify the proportionality with regard to the crime rate, not with regard to the population statistics, because otherwise the suggestion is that the police are wildly pro-Asian, since very few Asian people are killed in confrontations with the police. But again, facts and stats don't matter. All that matters is emoting on stage. We'll get back to this riveting take on the 93rd Academy Awards in just one second. A few decades ago, private citizens used to be largely that, private. Well, what changed? The interwebs. Think about all the things you've browsed, searched for, watched, tweeted. Now imagine all of that data being crawled through, collected, aggregated by third parties into a permanent public record. Your public record. Having your private life exposed for others to see was once something that only celebrities worried about, but now everybody can see that stuff unless you use ExpressVPN. To keep my data private, when I go online, I turn to ExpressVPN. With ExpressVPN, my connection gets rerouted through an encrypted server. My IP address is masked. Every time I turn ExpressVPN on, I'm given a random IP address shared by other ExpressVPN customers, which anonymizes everything. The best part is how easy ExpressVPN is to use. Doesn't matter what device you're on, phone, laptop, smart TV, all you have to do, tap one button to get protected. Like, for example, now, as you will see, it says not connected, doink. And now, we're connected. My information is safe. So, if like me, you believe that your data is your business, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN on the market. Visit expressvpn.com/Ben. Get 3 extra months for free. Go to expressvpn.com/Ben to learn more. Tyler Perry received the Humanitarian Award. Here's what he had to say.
It is my hope that all of us would teach our kids, and not only to remember, just refuse hate. Don't hate anybody. I refuse to hate someone because they are Mexican or because they are black or white or LGBTQ. I refuse to hate someone because they are a police officer. I refuse to hate someone because they are Asian. I would hope that we would refuse hate.
Yeah, it's actually a nice sentiment. It really is. And by the way, the unspoken assumption that he's sort of making there, the unspoken story that he's telling, is that his mother grew up in a time with Emmett Till, and here he is standing receiving a humanitarian award on one of the most watched programs on planet Earth. So that's kind of an amazing transition. It says something about how far America has come since those days. Tyler Perry said, I refuse to hate white folks, I refuse to hate black folks, I refuse to hate cops. Good for him. Seriously, good for him. So apparently coming out of one of the commercial breaks, Questlove, who is kind of the quasi-host of the show because they can't have real hosts anymore since Kevin Hart made a bad joke on Twitter 10 years ago. Apparently he was playing songs and people had to guess whether that song had been previously Oscar nominated or won an Oscar. And that led to this bizarre moment in which Glenn Close danced to Booty, I believe is what it is called.
Do you know how to do the butt? Quest, turn up. Come on, let's see it. Let me see you do the butt. Let's see it.
Yep. Got nothing there. From boiling rabbits to doing the booty. It's been a career. So if you thought that Glenn Close was not great doing the butt, Angela Bassett showed up and gave a terrible performance, actually just reading the monologue before the In Memoriam segment. It really was chewing the scenery.
We want to celebrate the artists who gave us permission to dream. The technical pioneers and innovators who expanded our experience of movie love. Let us as one community say, thank you. You will remain as we remember you in our hearts always.
Whoa. Razzie for performance on that one. That's the worst overacting I've seen since Al Pacino in Heat.
She got a great ass!
So, after Nomadland won Best Picture, they handed off the microphone to Frances McDormand, who is not all with us anymore, sadly. And it got weird.
We give this one
to our wolf.
Well, they say that being a great actor means having zero inhibition. So Frances McDormand won another Best Actress Oscar last night. That would be her third, which puts her in some pretty rare company in sort of the acting community. And she gave a speech. This is Frances McDormand, Best Actress winner for I Pooped in a Bucket.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. We know the sword is our work. And I like work. Thank you for knowing that. And thanks for this.
So she has no words. The words are in the sword. The sword is the work. She likes the work. The work is about a trailer. The trailer has a bucket. She pooped in the bucket. That's what I got there. So there you have it. A bunch of very rich and famous people giving themselves awards for being rich and famous. We should all pray that next year is better. Until then, maybe we can actually go see some movies that we want to see as opposed to watching people win awards for movies no one has seen.